Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today's episode is all about our adult children who are still dependent on to us. In other words, we are still think they are dependent on to us because we are not letting them go and take the responsibility. The best example for that is that, when someone asks us, are you available to go somewhere or do something? And we excuse similarly as we excuse 15 years back, I have to look after my children, I can't go. So is that really you are looking after your children, or what you are doing? Let's ask Sister Shanaz.
Assalamu alaikum, dear listeners and viewers. I think what we have with grown-up children when parents behave like that is generally a control episode, that we have to be in control of everything. So we choose what they eat, we choose what they wear, and we think they can't do any of this. Whereas if you gave them the opportunity, they can do all of this. They do it in their work life, they do it at uni, they have been independently making decisions. They can do all of this, but it's more about us as parents. We want to do that for them because we feel we're in control. So this is where I think this notion of, I need to do this for my children comes into it, because we think, they can't do without me, but they can do without you, because there's going to be times in their life where they are going to be very independent. And here, because children go to university, they live away. Even when they're at school, they're living a totally different lifestyle. They become very independent very quickly. But in our mind, we think our children are just defenseless little kids and we need to be there all the time. We need to wash their clothes. We need to iron their clothes. We need to make their meals. And without us, things can't work for this child. And in actual fact, that's not true.
Exactly. And that's where it is we are going to talk today's episode, that where and when to set the boundaries. So the core of this thought is that the behavior of the codependency, which is sometimes generational, and the gender specific. How I will say the generational, that we always see that we are being raised and being pampered and being provided with our parents, and that's what where we think that this is what we have to do all our life. And there's these the blurred boundaries that when you stop doing it is never being in your experience. You are always being told, and that's what you learn, that you have to tell the children as well, and take control of their choices in every aspect of their life, and that's how they will not learn even they are become really really adults. And because of that lack of experience, which is not given, is start with the simple things when they are younger children, the age of 5 to 10, and we are telling them, okay, get up, wash up yourself, wash your face, wash your hands, eat food with like that, eat, do this, do study, do homework. But rather than sitting telling them do the homework, we are sitting them, forcing them to do the homework, and then telling them how to spend, controlling their money as well when they are grown up, because they does not have the independent accounts, or they are just being giving always pocket money to do the things what they needs to do. So they don't learn how to earn the money and how to spend the money and how to save the money. And then when they are a little bit more grown up and they are even earning, we does not teach them their responsibility, where they are telling them that we don't need your money, you don't need to pitch in into anything. And they actually using all the money into the different players, and that's perfectly all right, but they does not learn how to save and how to collaborate when there is a bigger needs are there. And how, most importantly, that's the saddest part, is that when we have the women or the young children, when they have lost a husband or parent, they don't know how to survive in the world, how to earn the money, how to use the inheritance, or how to take control of the bills and everything. They are left completely blank what is need to be done, and they struggle a lot at that point. And that opportunity, if they are being trained and if they are being having opportunity to dealing some of it, they will be obviously take it in a that grief moment. They are able to do and take care of things more with the less stress.
Mm. Yeah, so they will have, they will already know how to budget. They will already know how to plan their finances. They will already know that if I need something big, I need to plan ahead. So if you do everything for them, then of course, when the opportunity arises, they don't know what to do if you're not there. And don't forget, children want to be independent. They need to be independent. They're moving out, they're getting married, they're moving away. How are they going to cope? So you need to teach them these coping skills that, okay, so this is what you're earning. How much are you going to be saving? How much are your bills? How much are your grocery shopping? When when I was working at the Citizen Advice Bureau, I was volunteering there, and we used to have this. We used to do these scenarios where you would say to somebody, "Okay, here's this money. What would you do with it?" And some of the young people there to say, "Oh, I'll drink it all," you know, because obviously the Western community they. So okay, so where would you sleep then? Oh, on my friend's sofa. What will their parents say? So it's just thought provoking about would you be able to sleep on someone's sofa? And is that someone independent? They have parents. Those parents are just like your parents. They're controlling. Are you going to manage? So these things, we don't like scenarios. We don't like to say to our children, "Oh, what if something happens to me? How would you cope?" Because that would give us a very good idea of where their thought process is. And also because we've not let them have any responsibility, we've not let them make mistakes, we've not let them make their own decision and see if those decisions were wise decisions or not so wise decisions. And we all make decisions which are not so wise, even though we're adults. Even adults make decisions that aren't so wise. So then the children will learn that, yes, there is such thing as a decision that needs to be made. I need to make that decision. What sort of things do I need to use to make that decision? How is that decision going to benefit me? How is that decision going to impact me? How is it going to impact the whole family? How is it going to impact me in 5 years' time? So we really need to, instead of just doing things for our children, we need to give them the opportunity to make decisions, learn from their decisions, and if they've made mistakes along the way, they will have definitely learned from those mistakes as well. And then you need to be there to tell them that that's fine. Mistakes happen. We made mistakes as young adults when we were your age, but then we've learned from it. You need to learn from it as well. And then we all move on from there. If you've never let your children make mistakes, if you've never let them do their thing, if you've sort of like, right, okay, I'm an adult, I'm your parent, I'm going to decide, you just follow. So that child will never really grow up. That child will never have the decision-making power. That child will never have right, okay, I want to do this. Is it beneficial for me? That child will just say, "Oh, I'll ask my mum." And if the mum is not happy with that for personal reasons, whatever they are, it's going to be a no. And then that child is going to have to put up with that no. So is that child really ready to be putting up with a no when it could have been a yes, it could have been a right, let's explore and then see what happens. So this is where we need to be letting go of that control, of that very, very controlling behavior where we make the decisions as adults in our house. No, you make the decisions for yourself and your children, guide them, advise them, but don't make them adhere to your decision. You can tell them, this is what I would decide, this is what I would like, but then let them be themselves. Let them see how they would, is it really for them? Are they happy with this? And finances as well is another big thing. We go, there's either one or the other. So the first one is where we take all their money off them. and we make the financial decisions. We are going to save for the future. We are going to buy you the house. We are going to buy you the car. So all their finances are in our control. Or we go the other way where we just let them have all the money that they earn and they're squandering it on games, shoes and purses. Um, they're just doing whatever they like. And we've got no sort of like say in them. So they're not budgeting, they're not saving for the future. They're not saving for a bigger cause or anything like that. They're just either not don't know what's happening with their money, or they are doing whatever they like with their money, and then the consequences might not be that great for them and for you as well as a parent. Because when your children are going to financially struggle, you are going to have to help them with it because you don't want to have your children financially struggling because and the reason they'd be financially struggling is because you have probably not taught them how to budget. You've not taught them, if you're earning this much, then make sure you're living lesser than what you're earning. Not you're earning this much and you're spending everything and you're using your credit card and yeah, hey ho, you only live once. That's something that you need to uh, but that's not control, but that is advice to your children that this is what you will need to do. And instead of doing the other bit, which is like, right, okay, I will take care of everything. You don't need to do anything, just follow my lead. And that child's not going to learn anything. They might be 25, they might be 30, they might be 40, but they're not going to le learn anything because they're just following my lead.
Exactly. So, what I will say here that, whoever listening this episode, if you are a parent, if you are a husband, or if you're a wife, even if you are a child, or I will not say the child in this position in this episode. If you are an adult of the 20 years old or adult of any older age, 30, 40, or 50, one thing, if you are your boundaries are too much blurred, you don't know where you start and where other person ends, that is something where you have to reflect onto that. That's where you have to think about that, whose growth you are stopping. Because in a point in our individual lives, there is a time where we all have to live by ourselves, emotionally, financially, physically. So we need to build this, that, all of us as an human beings, build some resistance, build some strength, build some strategy. If we are all by ourselves, how we are going to survive? So if it's the physically, that we take care of ourselves, take the physical self-care, do the walks, do the healthy diet, and teach our children as well, like, they also know to cook some healthy food for themselves, rather than even only taking away takeaways and doing something. So if there's someone not around them, they can cook some simple dishes for themselves, not the boy, not the girl, as a human being. You as well, if someone is not there, you can you uh, can take care of yourself, that you can go out, you can do the groceries, you can cook the meals, obviously, wherever in the life stage you are. And then emotionally, that you are think that you can do things independently. You always don't need someone to tell you to do something and be with you to do something. You can go on the walks alone. You can go on the holidays alone. You can do lots of things in your life where you can do stuff where you can be all by yourself and you are happy in your own company. Don't always seek the company, because maybe it's good to have fun, but it sometimes you might be overburdening other person, or you might be, too dependent and not doing anything at all. Because the one reason of that, you are not independent financially, you never thought about being independent financially. For anyone, like, you does not develop your skills to be financially independent, or the other person you are depending on does not have enough to make you financially independent. So think about that. It's not about doing all the jobs. It's to using your finances in a way where you know where to start and where to end. And these skills are really important to learn in early age, in your early 20s, where you know how to work and how to use the money and how to live independently, where you are independent. and that independence go a long way when you are an older adult as well. Do you think, Sister Shanaz? So what your take on
Definitely,
that?
I think children do need to have life skills, and in this country, paying your bills and looking after yourself and cooking for yourself and washing and ironing, all these life skills are extremely important.
And
And
I will add, to cut you off, I will say that, these all skills are important wherever you are in the world.
exactly, exactly, yeah. More so here because we live independently a lot of the time. So these children, they might be growing up in a little family now, but 15 years, 10 years from now, they will all move away from each other. Parents might not be around, so they will be living independently. Whereas in countries back home, there's always somebody there for you, an aunt, a sister, a cousin, or something, and they will help you with these some of the chores which are labeled as in feminine chores, but they in this country there's no such thing as a feminine chore. It is everybody does everything. So as a child, I think it's very important that you are taught this, and for parents, because I think majority of the time it's the one thing that we said is control. Okay, so yes, that is one of the things. And the other one is that the mother thinks, oh, he's going to take too long, or she's going to take too long doing this, so I might as well do it for them. He's going to take too long ironing his shirt, I might as well do it for him. But he might take too long ironing his shirt the first time, maybe the second time, third time. After that, he'll be doing it better than you. Or with the cooking, oh, he'll just blast the kitchen. It'll be really untidy when he finishes. Yeah, it will be the first time, maybe the second time, and the couple of times after that. But then eventually he will learn that once you've used the kitchen, you need to tidy up after yourself. So these things, it's sometimes we do it because we're very controlling, and sometimes we do it because we think that they can never manage, or that they won't do it as good as we do it, or that, if I did it, I would do it in half the time. Yes, you would do it in half of the time, but soon they'll be doing it in half of the time as well. So let them have that little bit of independence. And then there's other things that we are very controlling about you spoke briefly about the finances. We spoke about that quite we spoke about that. But then the other thing is the partnering. Like for instance, someone that he wants to get married to or she wants to get married to, and the parents don't approve, then it's like you don't know what decision you're making. You're not doing this. Look at them. They're this. Now, of course, it's a very big decision in life, and it does need parental guidance, and you as a parent are there to give that guidance. But it doesn't mean that you have the last say. And I think we often want to have the last say because what we say goes, and what anybody else said is not important. So, and then it's we if the child should go ahead and do their own what they wanted to do, and let's say it goes wrong, we're always telling that child, see, I told you so. I told you so. You should have listened to me. But what about all those decisions that you have made that went wrong? Did you not think about that one? That I've made decisions that have gone wrong. And of course, my children will make decisions that go wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's just part of life. Some things work out and some things don't. And when they don't, then you need to have a strategy to put it right. And that's what your child is going to learn from their mistakes. So we have to be very careful in letting them make decisions. Not all decisions, not decisions that affect you, but decisions that affect them. If this decision is affecting them, then they need to have a proper parental um sort of like a parental guidance, but sit them down and speak to them about the pros and cons of this situation. This is what you want to do. Now, this could happen, this other thing could happen. Not that it will happen all the time. You might find that you get married and things are totally different. Things are not like what we expect them to be. But people aren't always as they seem. So you make the decision, but keep everything in mind. With finances, okay, so you want to do this with your money, but how much money do you think you're going to have coming in throughout? So you have a certain amount of money coming in throughout. What do you do with that money? How are you, if you had a whole household to run, if I wasn't the parent and running the house, you would need to run your own finances. How would you cope? If you're buying a bag that's 300, well, it's not even 100 anymore, is it? It's £1,000. If you're buying a bag that's £1,000 every other month, and then the months that you're not buying a bag, you're buying shoes, or so how are these things going to impact you in the long run? So it's things like that. And then sometimes you've got to let them make their mistakes and see the consequences of their mistakes so they can learn from it. And everything in life is a learning process. So don't ever think that, oh, my child is never going to make a mistake or I'm never going to make a mistake. It's just a learning curve. It is, your mistakes are a great teacher for you. So do let your children have that bit of space where they can do things for themselves, where they can make their own decisions. And of course, your guidance is always welcome. Your guidance is welcome, but your control is not welcome.
That is really true that, everybody needs to have the fair share of their own experiences. And
Mhm.
today's all episode is about that, don't snub the growth, not yours, not others, and learn how to work mutually in a healthy way of growing up. This is the process that, you need to let go of the control, you need to let go of the space so other person can stand up. It's not always me, it's sometimes others as well, and that others are your own children and you want them to be flourished. And if they are asking you to do everything, it's mean there is some gap where you haven't stepped back. So as soon as you feel that your adult children are asking you to do small chores for you, for themselves, and they are not taking the responsibility, and they are not taking the responsibility of their finances as well, you need to take a little step back, give them a freedom, give them the taste of if what happens if they have a bad decision.
Most
that is
definitely.
the that is the last word for today.
Yeah. The last word from me is that we all learn from our mistakes. We all learn, we do things and there's consequences for that thing. I mean, sometimes the consequences are very beautiful and you know that, yes, this is the things that we want to continue doing. And then sometimes the consequences are quite undesirable. So you know that this is something that I want to refrain from. So if you don't do, you won't learn. And with parents, there's guidance is always very welcome. But to say you can't do this because I say so, I know better, then I think that parent needs to step back and think about, how am I bringing up these children? I'm making all their decisions for them because I feel that I can do a better job. I can do a good job. And of course, in your opinion, you can because that's how you want your life to be. But the children may not want that in their life. So step back, let them be themselves, and just guide them as parents. Like I said,
Exactly.
guidance is welcome.
Exactly. Thank you very much for listening to us. Do subscribe us, and if you need any help to your mindset, please do contact us. There is a website link is in there in the bio of the video. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.
Staff is right. Now, no, well, I thought my battery was going to run out a minute.